Hello, this is my presentation on my family. My name is Rachel Hainsworth, and this is my fam. All right, so this is a picture of my family from left to right. I have them labeled. It's me, then my mom Terry, then my dad Mike, and then my sister Jessica, and then my brother-in-law Mark, who's been part of our family for wow, three years now, and he's been a great addition to the family. I'm gonna move on. This is my mom. My mom is my rock. She's my everything. See a couple pictures of us there together. We're bonded together through plants. That's something that we love to do as a family. My sister owns a thrift store and sells lots of plants, so it's a family affair. My dad just sent me a card with plants in it. But that's my mom. She really modeled to me biblical values of getting up early and spending time in your word. She had a spot on the couch in the living room that almost every morning when I'd wake up, that's where she would be, studying her Bible and spending time with Jesus. This is my dad. I definitely get my joyful, playful, fun side from him. He's taught me how to let loose. He's taught me how to love people well. He's just always been there for me. Then there's my sister. We did not get along at all growing up. We definitely get along a lot better now. I think it took just graduating and moving out for us to see, like, hey, we can be friends. We can make this work. She lives in California now with her husband, so it's a little bit harder 'cause she's kind of far away. But we're definitely good friends. Then there's my grandparents. On the left are my mom's parents. They live in Kentucky. On the right are my dad's parents. They live in Ocala. Um, they're both great sets of grandparents and amazing. Both go to church and both are always asking me questions about my faith, encouraging me on mission trips. It's been great to have their support. All right. So this slide was not in the options of what to put on here, but it's on here because they are my family. Not by blood, not because I live with them, but because they're people that I always want to have in my life and people who have for a very long time been in my life. So I'm going to go through the pictures, tell you who they are, and tell you why I consider them family. So in the top left corner, is Lauren. I met her 5 years ago line dancing, and she's just one of those people that's always been there and that will always be there, just joyful, uplifting. When I got really sick 3 years ago, she was one of those people that I knew I could always count on. She came over a lot. She brought movies, she brought books, she just brought herself. She's a travel nurse and moves around the world now, and I don't get to see her very often, but when we do, we pick up right wherever we left off. In the middle is Mason. We've been friends since I was 10. Uh, and she just got married like a month ago, and it's been wonderful to have her in my life. And I want her to always be in my life. She knows more about me than anyone and loves me just the same. On the right, there's Michelle. I met her 3 years ago working a conference in DC. And she's one of those friends, one of those family people that kind of snuck up on me. She's persistently pursued friendship with me. We pray together once a week on the phone and check in, and it's just such a God centered relationship. Back to the bottom left, there's Costa and Diana. They are husband and wife. Um, I met them in Greece, and it was just one of those people that your heart just automatically connects with in ministry, and God just kind of knits you together. It is a cross continental relationship. Um, but we FaceTime once a week, and it's full of laughter and love and what God's doing in our life, and I 100% consider them family. In the middle bottom, the picture of a little boy and a little girl. I have now nannied for them for 5 years, and I consider them a part of my family, but I also know that they consider me a part of their family. I prayed before I got that babysitting job that God would make me a home in Lakeland as I was away from home. And he definitely answered that prayer through their family. I know that I'm always welcome in their house. If I've had a hard day. Um, I'm always welcome over. The bottom right, there's Mischief and myself. Mischief kind of represents her owner, but she also I kind of consider my child. About over a year ago, I met Liz, and she's very quickly become a strong grandmother figure in my life. They actually took me in for 2 months before I came up to Alaska and let me live with them. But she is just someone who carries my burdens really well and does life with me. And all of these people point to my definition to family. So I went with kind of the generic, but then it wasn't enough. There's so much more to family than the first definition. So people related by blood or living together. But I consider that basic, so I added more. Someone not related to you, but bonded by love, having chosen to do life together indefinitely. Um, and I think family is something, whether we choose it or not, it's something that it's forever. And so there are certain people that we consider family that we want in our lives forever. And so that's why I put indefinitely in there. And then the bottom clause, meals and homes are significant to family. And so the bottom part says, these people are always welcome in your home. Sorry for the siren. That means that it's time for breakfast, but I'm going to move on. These people are always welcome in your home. No need for invitation, and you are welcome in theirs. Um, just walk on in. So these are people in my life and people in your life that their home is your home, even though you don't live there, even though you're not related. Your family. All right. How my family has impacted the way I define family and ministry. I'm going to be really candid and open here in this slide. The past year, my parents have been going through a divorce, and it's been really hard. I had one of those perfect, amazing childhoods. Both of my parents loved God. We were in church all the time. They loved me and they supported me and my sister in our walk and modeled it by their walk. But the last year, they just fell apart. They're finalizing things right now, and it's been really, really hard. And through all of this, I kind of cried out to God, like, God, what are you doing? Like, I want to disciple parents, and I had this perfect, beautiful model that I could lean on, that I could tell people that I had, and it's not there anymore. And so God, kind of in my brokenness, kind of confronted me and said, do families that are broken need my help too? I didn't really want to hear that. I wanted to stay in my grief and to stay in my pain and to blame God that I couldn't do family ministry anymore because mine was falling apart. But majority of churches don't. Majority of families in churches are not two-parent Christian homes. Um, Single moms. There's divorces. There's blended families. And now God's kind of given me a platform to stand and reach those people. Mm, yeah. So I define family as so much more than just who you live with. All right, one thing I can do to communicate that all families are welcome and included. I believe that actions communicate a lot more than words, so I'd love whatever church I'm at to organize an inclusive family meals at the church that are to be replicated at home. So I think meals around the table are something that's very significant. And I think if we model that in church, maybe by doing a potluck, maybe doing something like that, but then communicate to the leader families in our church, like, hey, meet people at your table, make them a part of your family, invite them over for a meal. And if that becomes a culture, it's something that communicates very loudly that you are welcome and included, because it's not just welcome and included in the church, it's welcome and included in families' lives. One thing I can change in my ministry to ensure that all families feel welcome and included, I think it has to be more than just me. So I think I'm changing my perspective of what family looks like. I want to equip and empower families to change the church perspective of how they view families by empowering families to make families feel welcome and included. It kind of goes back to that meal concept that I cannot, in my power, make everybody feel welcome and included, but I can encourage families to be the ones, to be the branch, to be the bridge. And I kind of really saw that in the second book that we read, that it has to be at home, that biblically it was at home, and that it should be at home. And so communicating that in church, but then making the change in homes is how I believe that I could make families feel welcome and included.